Hello everyone, it's me BD from the Dark Side, and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a bit of a special one because I'm gonna try to beat Pokemon Ultra Moon using only Shiny Litten. Now, I got this Litten a couple years ago actually, by the time of me recording this intro, because believe it or not, this video have been in the making for a couple of years, which is kinda stupid because I've been just way too lazy to do it. And also, real quick, this is like my first time ever recording a video like this, so I have no idea if it's going to turn out well, and I hope it will. So, let's start off by going through the rules. I'm not allowed to use any Pokemon other than Shiny Litten in combat, but I'm gonna have to overwrite this later on, because apparently there's a specific fight, legit only one fight in the entire game, where I'm forced to do a double battle, and I had to substitute with something else, and y'all are going to see that when that happens. No glitches or exploits, and no using items in battle, only highlight items, Pokeballs, and Adrenaline Orbs are allowed, because Adrenaline Orbs actually can help you get more Pokemon in the wild, because of the SOS chaining. And that way I'll get to grind Pokemon for a little bit longer instead of just running around in the grass a whole bunch. But it's not really that much because you use up so much PP and you take so much damage from wild Pokemon that if you don't have a partner to switch into or to heal up throughout the battle, it's gonna be too difficult. And I'm not healing up in any battle, including wild ones, because I'm just stupid. Also, we're allowed to use Pokeballs because they allow us to waste a turn when we're doing anything against a trainer. So for example, if Litten got to learn Toxic, I can just waste a turn by throwing a Pokeball instead of having to use a move. So I can do that, I guess. Alright, we'll start things off with us actually picking up our Shiny Litten, which sadly I don't have the reaction for because I wasn't really recording at the time. And it's adamant nature, so it's the perfect nature for Incineroar, but sadly for Litten, it's not really the best. Litten has more special attack, and its best attack that it can learn is Flamethrower. It uses special, but Adamant reduces special and increases attack, so it's not really the best, but we take what we can get. It's a shiny. I'm not gonna reset for a shiny with a better nature. Also, I decided to give Litten lots of love and giving it a lot of Pokebeans because that increases the friendship level. And when you increase the friendship level, there's a chance that it will get a better crit rate. So then any moves can crit a lot more often. And also it can dodge moves. Even 100% accuracy moves can be dodged with friendship. And that is going to be essential to win the fights in the end of the game because things get super tough. Y'all are gonna see it in just a little bit. Also, when you get to 3 Hearts of Friendship, I'm pretty sure, Litten starts gaining bonus EXP, which is going to help us grind. The beginning of this game isn't really much, just regular Pokemon stuff. We meet How, a whole bunch of story stuff. Non-shiny Litten appears because for some reason they didn't code in the cutscene Pokemon to be shiny, which is super duper sad. It's really nothing difficult. We just beat How, we go through a whole bunch of story, which I'm going to skip through the entire story. This game is pretty old. If you want to see a playthrough, go down in the description. I'm gonna link you to a randomizer from a guy called Whattageek. He played Ultra Sun and Moon Randomizer. Super fun. He does it on Twitch. You can go check him out. Really like the guy. He has some pretty casual videos if y'all are into that. So you can go check him out if you're into the story, because he might actually go through it, but instead of Pokemon being just regular Pokemon, everything's just completely random, and I'm pretty sure he gets some pretty OP Pokemon. I'm pretty sure he got a Scizor with Protein, which is crazy. So, skipping a whole bunch of the story, blah blah blah, we somehow managed to get a cool stone that the Guardian left for us, and we wake up next day and someone knocks on the door and hey look, it's Kukui. Oh no, Mom, get the shotgun, there's the guy without our shirt inside a house. Anyway, he wants to teach us how to catch Pokemon, which we will definitely put to good use in the channels because we can only use Litten. So thanks Kukui. After we win any battle, after this point, I have been tending to Litten so much. You will see after each battle it says you've gained boosted EXP. When it says it's boosted EXP, it means that our friendship has reached a high enough level that we're getting extra EXP from it. So Litten is eventually going to get a lot of EXP because, number one, its friendship is high, and number two, it's going to reach a point where it can evolve, but because we're not going to be evolving it, it's going to get an even boosted EXP because of that. It could have been that Litten is traded, and then we'll get even more EXP out of that, but I'm not doing this with a traded Shiny Litten, because then I'm going to have a lot of disobedience problem. And here we are going to another fight with How. This time he has 2 Pokemon, which is making me worry a little bit. We're not really, it's not really that point of the game where it's difficult at all, but it's still a little scary seeing how he already has 2 Pokemon. And right after that fight, we get our Z-Ring, which is kind of cool, because the Z-Ring allows us to use a special Z move, which is actually pretty OP, and in all honesty, I never used any held items throughout the entire game, except for Z moves. Z moves are considered held items because they are crystals you give to your Pokemon. Even though if you look at the anime, Ash can like use a million Z moves at any time he wants, and like it's not really a held item at all because the trainer holds it, but oh well, whatever. Game rules. So I'm gonna be using the Z move through the entire game. I don't know if it's really the best thing, because I could have given Litten something like Charcoal to boost its fire type moves, or like something to boost its just any move. But instead I decided to use Z moves because they assure me almost a instant KO on any Pokemon I meet. After that, we have to meet up Lily, and oh my god, there is so much of the tutorial left, because right now we're gonna unlock our first Pokemon Center, and we're gonna have to do a whole bunch of battles in a trainer school. Now, the trainer school has me a little worried, because at the end of it, you have to fight the headmaster, I think, and she has a Pokemon that resists your own Pokemon. So whatever starter you choose, she's gonna have a Pokemon to resist that. So for example, I chose Litten, she's gonna have Popplio, and it's gonna wreck us because it's gonna have Bubble Beam. It is so difficult. Sometimes I get like stuck here for quite some time, and I made sure to like feed Litten a lot of Pokebeans just to make sure it's happy enough. His affection level now is 3, 2 levels away from max. Alright, so after finishing the entire school and getting the TM, it's pretty useless TM. We also did get AXP share at this point, but we turned it off immediately because we're not going to be using it. We have to fight Teacher Emily. She uses a Pokemon that's super effective against us, and it's Popplio, of course, and it has Bubble Beam, and it's very difficult, and we immediately lose. So I decided to come back at level 15. And at level 15, Litten learned Fire Fang, which is way better than Ember, but it's not really useful in this fight. Well, up until this point, I actually forgot to give Litten an Oranberry, because one of the children here, yes, it's a child, I'm pretty sure, not like a teenager, an actual child gave us an Oranberry. Using the Oranberry and just a little bit of affection, we managed to win this battle. Man, I wish school was this easy in real life. Instead, you just have to go through stuff like maths and physics. Oh, God. And with that, we're into Holio City, which is a pretty nice place, and we don't care about it at all. So we're just gonna keep going, and immediately we find Team Skull trying to fight Lima, who is a captain, and I know he has a Smeargle, so it might be a little bit difficult to knock him out because Smeargle might have some super effective moves against me. I'm not really sure. Smeargle can learn a variety of moves. Alright, and just Fire Fang was good enough to ruin his entire team, so I shouldn't have worried at all. And actually, right after Lima, who I just said he's a captain, we're gonna actually go have to fight his quote-unquote gym. Gyms in this game are trials that I have to do that give you the Z crystals. The first one is Lima's trial, and it actually is the normal type trial, technically speaking, because it gives you the Normalium Z. It's very easy trial. All I have to do is just go there, find 3 hidden Rattatas, and when I defeat the 3 Rattatas, I draw the totem Pokemon. Totem Pokemon are just larger Pokemon than usual, and whenever you fight them, they get stat boosts immediately. But because I chose to play Ultra Moon, and I didn't really mean to do this, it just happened by coincidence. Because I chose Ultra Moon, the totem Pokemon here is Rattata, or Raticate actually, and it's a Alolan Raticate, meaning it's a normal type and dark type. And normal and dark type are quad weak to fighting, which is the move that I'm gonna use on it, which is Double Kick. I just happened to learn that for some reason. Litten learns Double Kick, and I really did not mean to make this easy on me, but oh well, it happened. That's our first trial. It was pretty easy. And hey, with that trial done, we actually get our first ever Z Crystal, Normalium Z. I don't know how much I'll be using it, because normal moves aren't really the best. I could go with like a fire move, and I'm pretty sure later on in the game I went on with a dragon move, because Litten can learn Outrage, which is such a good move if you think about it. It's like, what, 120 attack, 100% accuracy, you just get confusion? That is so good. And hey, we have another How fight. He actually has 3 Pokemon this time. Sadly, one of them is Noibat, which resists 2 of our 3 attacking moves, being Flying and Dragon type. And it only gets worse from here. Of course we win, because we're over-leveled and Litten's pretty good. But still, it's only gonna get worse from here, because How later on gets an Eevee, and that Eevee is gonna evolve to be something that's actually stronger against your starter. So since I chose Litten, the Eevee is gonna evolve into a Vaporeon, which Ooh man, Vaporeon is tanky. Alright, now it's time for the Kahuna fight. I'm a little worried about this fight because he does have a Pokemon that knows Bubble Beam. Right away, Machop obliterates us with Revenge. That's not really good. Makuhita send attacks us once before going down, and now's the scary one, Z-move Brawler. Obviously, we couldn't take it because of that massive attack from Machop at the start, but I'm sure we can do it if we give Litten an item and maybe some love. Alright, after using Workup 3 times, it made us strong enough to finish the fight and move on forward. After that, we actually gained the Z Crystal for fighting, which is pretty cool. It will help us do more damage using Double Kick, but Double Kick is it's a really weak move. I'm pretty sure it's like 30, 20 power per hit, and it hits twice. And the Z move doesn't count the hitting twice. You only hit once, and so it's really bad. And we also get the Taurus Charge Away ability, so we can break rocks. So that's cool. Alright, and here we are with a rival fight. I'm gonna be honest with you, I tried to do a Nuzlocke before, and this rival fight right here actually managed to destroy me. And how itself is actually kinda difficult here, because his Pokemon actually evolved, and our Litten hasn't. And evolving your Pokemon actually gives your stat, like, a very big boost. Now, the Hell fight here itself was pretty easy. The only hiccup was when he got paralyzed off static, but he managed to shake it off with the power of anime, I guess. We wound up fending later to a trainer with a carbing that kept raising its defense and attack, and we didn't even faint to how. That's kinda hilarious. And hey look, here's Emo Gladion. I really like Gladion. He's kinda cool. He actually has a legendary, type Null. And he has a Zorua, which he's gonna be using later. It's the same tactic as N, Natural Harmonia Gropius from Gen 5, as N always sends out Zoroark dressed as a Klinklang, which I find kinda funny. He instead sends out a Zorua and then a Zoroark, and he shapes it as type Null. So type Null is actually one of the weakest legendaries in the entire game as far as I know. He's not an Ultra Beast, he's not a Pseudo Legendary, he's technically speaking a legendary, and he wasn't a legendary. At first, whenever people were speculating about him, they decided not to give him the title of legendary because of his stats. They were so abysmally low that he just couldn't be considered a legendary. And he also can evolve, so is it really a legendary? I don't know. He's kind of weak. He was a cakewalk, and I'm completely fine. I remember when I first saw a Gladion sending out type Null, I completely soaked my pants, because this is actually the first Pokemon game I have ever played, Ultra Moon. And I knew that type Null was a legendary, and when he sent it out against me, like at the beginning of the game, I was like, oh crap, I'm so dead. And I didn't even know like type coverage, so I sucked back then. It was amazing. Alright, after that fight, we have the Lana trial. Lana actually has the water crystal, and it's scary as heck. I remember this trial took me so many tries on my own. At the end of it in Ultra Moon, you get to fight an Araquanid, and at the end of it in Sun, you have to fight a Wishiwashi that ends up transforming into the Packed Wishiwashi. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called Stooling, the ability. So then you have a school of Wishiwashi altogether. Both fights are super difficult. In all honesty, I think Araquanid is the easiest one for us because he has the extra typing of Bug, so then our fire moves aren't not very effective, instead they're neutral. But it's still super difficult because it's a very strong Pokemon. Alright, and here we are at level 32 with the move Thrash in hand. Sadly, since it's raining, fire attacks are a no-go. They're doing way too little damage. I'll keep using Thrash, but we survived 2 hits from 1 HP, but then what I was afraid happened. Thrash attacks any opponent on the field, and just by luck, it attacked the SOS Jupiter, losing us the fight. I'm pretty sure if we managed to attack the actual Pokemon, the actual Araquanid, I'd have won the fight. Alright, let's give Litten some love and give it the Normalium Z and try again. With the Z Crystal in hand, we can actually use Z Workup, which boosts our stats greatly, so it's ×2. I'm pretty sure drastically is a ×3 increase. And it gives us the victory in around 5 to 6 tries. Just needed that friendship to kick in. Now we have the Fishing Rod and a Water Crystal, and a Lapras as a ride. Not like I'm gonna be using the Water Crystal at all. Alright, fire trial time. This one gives us the Charizard glide, so we can start flying anywhere we want. Not like we can go anywhere, like, special, but still, it's cool that we can fly around. The trial here is actually kind of weird. You just have to see the Pokemon dancing, and you just have to point out what's different about the dance. Seems that the Marowak always attack you anyway, so whatever, free XP. Well, at the first attempt, we lost after two-shotting the Marowak, but we were too weak to fight the help it got, because these guys will always ask for help on the first turn. It's always pretty much like a free attack, but they always ask for an SOS, so you always have to fight two Pokemon against one. Second try went much better. Started the fight with full health, and Marowak just spammed Protect while I set up with the Z workup. And with that, the Fire Crystal is mine, and on to the next challenge. Next up is the Grass Trial, Mallow's Trial. It's actually pretty easy, and I'm pretty sure you can ignore every single fight in there. What you have to do in this trial is look for ingredients, and if you find the right ingredients and don't bother any of the Pokemon, you can actually not fight anything in this and immediately go to the Totem Pokemon. So what I did is I just kept resetting whenever I got the wrong ingredient until I found the right ingredient, and now I didn't have to fight anything, and we just had to fight the Totem Pokemon. If we're lucky enough, it will use Sunny Day to make our lives easier. And Double Me forgot to equip the Fire Crystal, cause wow, thanks Charaz, you really suck. As it was trying to spam Synthesis, the Comfey used Sunny Day to ensure us the victory. Not that we needed the Sunny Day, our damage was pretty good. And I'm pretty sure this thing is pretty weak to us cause it's Grass Bug. Or probably Grass, I actually can't remember what Lurantis is. Well, anyway, doesn't matter what its type is, we ended up winning. So, Olivia's next. Kinda dreading it cause Olivia's pretty strong, but we'll see how it goes right away. I am so scared from Olivia. I am terrified of Olivia. She's a rock-type trainer with some strong Pokemon. And I have nothing in my bag that can really help me, and all my moves are either not very effective or neutral. We'll see how this goes. And the first attempt goes as horrible as it can be. How the hell is Anorith faster than me? Oh well, let's grind a little. I knew that if the RNGesus lent a hand, we'd be victorious, so I sped up the game and I went after her again and again and again and closer each time until eventually Litten decides to listen to my shouts enough for me to get the victory. Thanks, little bud. Next up is a lot of story, so we're just gonna ignore all of that. And here is another fight with How. I lost this fight with How, and I thought I'm just gonna have to restart it. But apparently, even if you lose the fight, you still get the Z Crystal and you move on. This game really takes it easy on you, but I'm not gonna say no to that. It's time for the Electric Trial. It's actually super easy, it's just an easy puzzle, it's just a connect puzzle. Really nothing difficult. After that, we actually get to fight a Togedemaru. I know that in the first term, the Togedemaru is always going to set up with Spiky Shield, so I just used Workup, which led me to an easy Oko whenever I just used the Z move, and Skarmory wasn't really much of an issue. Easy fight, sweet. Usually this one's actually pretty difficult with the whole spiky shield thing because Togedemaru just loves spamming it. Alright, next up is the big and the bad. It's Guzma from Team Skull, leader of Team Skull. He's actually very difficult. He has a very good team. He's mostly using bug types. He's very, very powerful. And I don't know if I can actually beat him at the first try, but I'll try my best. His Gallisopod is a huge threat. It has some very powerful move and it's strong and tanky. And it has a pretty sweet ability. Once its HP goes below 50% HP, he actually just retreats and he sends out another Pokemon. I try and set up, but his Razor Shell is just way too strong. I need to get rid of Gallisopod as soon as I can, but then Masquerain reduces my attack and it's a lot tankier than it looks. 2 attempts later and Litten dodges Air Slash, giving us a one-shot with Flare Blitz. Can't believe we won without getting hit. Next up is a bunch of story stuff which nobody cares about. Alright, after all that stupid problems with Lily and Team Skull, we end up at the Ghost Trial, which is a haunted supermarket, which I found very cool. We have to look for anomalies and take pictures. I don't know if there is a way to not fight anything here. You're supposed to take pictures when the Pokemon aren't looking at you, but no matter what I try, they always attack me, so I decided to just give up and just fight all of them. After that, we have to do a fight against a Mimikyu, Totem Mimikyu. Mimikyu has an ability that allows it to take 0 damage off its first hit. It's called Disguise. It's a very nice ability and I've seen some pretty great pranks using that ability in like competitive. People who forget that ability exists or that Mimikyu exists, like they use their Z move on the first move and just do 0 damage on Mimikyu. It's hilarious. Now, Mimikyu is actually faster than us, so I don't think there's a way to win this, especially with Bayonet using Curse. So I guess I have to grind and come back later. Alright, back at level 52, let's see how this one goes. And nope, still faster than us. It has other moves. I don't know why it's just spamming Shadow Claw though. But just as I said that, the Bayonet decided to use Screech instead of actual Curse, so that gave us a win. Ghost Crystal in hand, we head on to our next challenge. Pretty good. I was kind of dreading this one because last time I tried to do a challenge as well in this game, I kind of stopped here because Migmikyu was just a bit too difficult and I wasn't feeling like grinding. Alright, here we are on Route 16. We have to go to Po Town, I think it's called. And over there we actually have to fight Team Skull to get a Pokemon which have been kidnapped. So on Route 16, there's always rain. Permanently. There's nothing you can do to stop rain. And since there is water, aka rain, our fire attacks are doing almost nothing. But thankfully, we actually have some pretty good moves to replace that with. But I'm not sure if the rain affects, like, inside buildings. So when I'm fighting people inside a building, if the rain affects it, but I guess we'll learn the hard way. So hey, apparently to get into Botown, I actually need to have 2 Pokemon, or else I can't initiate the fight in front of the entrance. So I traded myself a Magikarp. A shiny one. Gotta keep the theme of shinies here. To be able to use the Poke Center in Po Town, you actually have to pay 10 Poké-dollars to the owners of the place, because they can't pay the electrical bill, and I think that's just hilarious. Team Skull are truly one of the best evil teams. They're not really evil, they're just a gang of people together like a family, who just hanging out, enjoying their time together, and Guzma's just their leader, and they really love him. It's not like he's telling them to go do anything they don't want to, they're just trying to have fun. And I think that's just the charm of Team Skull. They're not like some big corporation like Giovanni with Team Rocket trying to just take over the world. They're just a bunch of guys trying to have fun, hang out. That's just so cool. And heck, they even have a lot of jokes all around. Like, I'm pretty sure when you meet Lima in Holio City for the first time ever and you're fighting his Smeargle, just before that, you have to fight a bunch of Team Skull. And they ask you if you know who they are, and you can just say no. You can just say no, you don't know who they are, and they'd be like, hey, yo, what? So I think that's just hilarious. They're just kind of a joke character, a joke evil team, but they are just so nice, and I really, really like them. Alright, after defeating all the grunts in the mansion, we take the password test to be able to go forward to face Guzma, a fight that I'm really dreading right now. We lose the first fight, being one single shot away from victory. Maybe save the Z move for Masquerain? And on our second attempt, we got the win, being so lucky to avoid Masquerain's Air Slash. That would have for sure defeated us. So back at the Aether Paradise place where Acerola lives, apparently Hao wasn't able to protect Lily from Team Skull and they ended up kidnapping Nebby. Hao is just a weak trainer. In the beginning, he's just such a weakling, he's too scared to, he's not too scared, but he's just having fun. He doesn't really care. I'm pretty sure at this point, his character starts getting developed and he gets stronger. But, well, Nebby's already been kidnapped, so, Gladion actually fights us here, and he manages to beat us, but that's not a wipeout. Odd. I guess we just don't have time when we have to actually go and face, you know, the Aether Paradise people. But just before that, we actually have to fight Nanu, which I think he's a detective? I'm not really sure. But he's, the uncle of Acerola, if I remember correctly. I thought Nanu's Krokorok would be a brick wall, but look at this run. Litten hangs on with 1 HP not once, not twice, but thrice in a row, while landing a crit and avoiding a 100% accuracy move. With that assertion of dominance, we gain the Dark MZ and finish our 3rd trial. This is actually our 3rd kahuna, so we're done with that island. We just have like 1 more to go. Alright, Aether Paradise time. This might just be my favorite place because of the music. Just listen to this stuff. Now, story, I'm just gonna skip all through it. We just fight, like, Faba, and he's just super weak. He doesn't really fight that much. And the scary part, which, well, I thought it was scary, you have to fight, like, 3 Pokemon, maybe 4. You just have to fight 3 trainers back-to-back. So I thought it would be difficult, but it really wasn't. They were using X items, but Litten did very well fighting all of them. And here we are, where I'm going to show you the smartest Pokemon villains in history. These 2 employees here will fight you and Hao when you enter the room, but upon defeating them, will refuse to give you any info because, and I quote, "We may have lost, but that doesn't mean we're going to help you." Holy crap, if only every Pokemon villain was like that. Then maybe the games would have been harder. In Gen 1, when you fight Giovanni and you win, he's just like, oh man, a kid beat me? Well, I guess I'll just disband the entire team. But these guys are just like, oh wow, you beat us? Well, we're not telling you anything because we're not gonna help you. Like, What? Alright, it's time for the real fight with Faba. Faba 2, Electric Boogaloo, now with thrice the amount of Pokemon. Actually, how pretty much, carried us through this entire fight. We still just barely won. Hao had some pretty strong Pokemon. They're just pretty weak. He needs to train them a bit more, I guess. But if it wasn't for him, we'd have lost. That was kind of embarrassing. And right after that Faba fight, we have another fight with Guzma. Ah, man, he just keeps getting harder and harder, and I'm afraid that eventually I'm not going to be able to win against him, and I'll have to grind. But hey, before we fight Guzma, we actually have to fight a whole bunch of, Team Skull Grunts. And one of them is actually a bit too smart for his own good. I like this guy. Alright, Guzma time. Wish me luck. I'll need it. Well, first try, I use Outrage, barely do any damage, then get one shot. Great! Second try goes much better. We even dodge a Stone Edge, but then die, leaving Golisopod just barely any HP left. Alright, first try at level 65. Our Z-move almost one-shots the Golisopod. Then Pinsir almost KOs us using a Stone Edge, making our chances of victory 0 since we can't use Flare Blitz anymore. Let's keep going until Stone Edge misses twice in a row. It's very likely, especially with Friendship. That took too long, so I ended up leveling up to level 70 and giving it a try then. The first Z-move one-shots Golisopod. We still get destroyed by Stone Edge though. Wait, what if I just spam Flare Blitz? And yep, that was the answer. I just spam Flare Blitz since you're faster than everything else, but we managed to do it. Jeez, this is hard. Now I know that the next fight isn't going to be easy. It's going to be Lusamine, and she has a strong team. Well, guess we lost. We managed to take out only 2 Pokemon. Apparently this fight is another one that you can just lose. I never knew, since I always had more than just one Pokemon playing this game, and I always managed to win. Alright, let's just skip a whole bunch of story. We made it to the last island, and we talked to Hapu, and we watched her become the Kahuna, so she tells us to go to Executor Island to find the Moon Flute to summon Necrozma. And also, using the Moon Flute, we can actually get Lumine back. Is it Lumine? Lusamine, not Lumine. We got Lusamine away from the Ultra Wormholes and Guzma, so we saved them, but we also summoned Necrozma, yada yada yada, big stuff, oh no, big sad. On our way to the vast Pony Canyon to summon Necrozma as well as Lusamine, we get ambushed by Team Skull, who are mad at us because they lost their boss, Guzma. They actually blame it on us, partly, but I guess they didn't know that Guzma wanted to go with Lusamine. But hey, can't blame them for that. So after fighting them, we actually could have lost if it wasn't for our insane luck with confusion. Plumeria then comes and tells them to actually help us instead of fight us. She even gives us a poison crystal, which is pretty cool. She knows that we're the good guys. Again, I'm really, really strong on this. Team Skull is the best evil team ever because they're just a family. They just really love each other, and I appreciate that. And like an evil team mafia boss, they're just a family. I love them. I'm gonna skip the entire Pony Canyon because there isn't really much here. It's just a whole bunch of trainer fights. Some of them are pretty difficult, but you can go by them with enough luck. And it's time for the big fight. The fight with Komodo, which is the trial fight. Komodo is mainly a special attacker, and a tanky one. His Dragon Claw puts us at half health, and I use Outrage, which is kind of scary because in a double battle, it has a chance to hit the other Pokemon summoned, just like Thrash when we used it against Araquanid. Not like we get a chance to attack it, because we die from pursuit. Maybe with a little friendship luck? And when we finally get that luck on the second run, Litten asserted its dominance by surviving, again, with 1 HP a few times, and then not getting confused. That's the trial done. Heck yeah. That's the Dragon Z Crystal, which is going to be so helpful against Ultra Necrozma, because with Outrage, that is going to do massive damage. And there we go. Nebby evolved into Lunala, and oh, what's that? Lusamine, Guzma, and what's that? Necrozma? Oh no, it's here to take all the light from this world. What shall we do? It's fine, Nebby's here to protect us. Oh wait, Nebby lost. Oh no, Nebby switched teams. What's that? Armageddon has been unleashed? Time to fight, I guess. Oh, is that a quad weakness to Dark and Ghost I see? Shadow Claw it is. I apparently just managed to pick up the easiest version of the game for me. I really did not mean to do that. Litten can learn Shadow Claw, and I had got it like not too long ago, and I did not think about this. I could have went with Ultra Sun, then it would have been a little harder because it's Psychic Steel, but oh well, this is what I went with, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright, and now the people from the other world are actually here, and they're telling us that they're pretty stupid because they fell for Lucamine and they ended up helping her out to do this entire thing, and now the place ran out of light. Now we have to try it on Solgaleo and go through the Ultra Wormhole and try and find the White Wormhole where we can go to the I think it's called Ultra Metropolis, I'm not really sure. And over there we get to fight Ultra Necrozma. Now here's a funny thing about the White Warp. This whole White Warp thing. When you're first doing it in the story, aka what I'm doing now, it's kind of strange the way they force you to go into a white wormhole. So as you can see, you're going around and you can see a whole bunch of wormholes all around you, and you're supposed to go into the white ones. But if you go into the just any random colored ones, you can have a chance to encounter a legendary. Like for example, you can find I don't know, Dialga, Palkia, not Suicune, he's like a combination thing. Whatever the heck, you can find a whole bunch of legendaries here and you can catch them and finish the game with them, which I find super cool. But here's the funny thing. Let's give you an example that you went inside a portal, you came out, they tell you, oh hey, it's not the right place, Necrozma isn't here. Then you go back outside. Then you go back inside the portal, and suddenly the white portals count increased. So the amount of white portals you get goes from like a, I don't know, 2% to maybe like a 10%. And the more you do this, the more you go inside colored portals and then go out and go back in, the more the white portals increase, and eventually there's nothing but white portals. All the other colored portals disappear and you're only left with white portals, and I don't think I've seen anyone talk about this before. I'm probably the only person that's ever done this before. And here we are, right before Ultra Necrozma. The blinding one awaits. This has to be the strongest, hardest boss fight in all of Pokemon. In a desperate, try to make things easier, I gave Litten the Dragonium Z, and I used a Rotom Power, because when you activate a Rotom Power and wait for it to finish, you actually increase your chance of having double Z moves, because Rotom midway through the battle can tell you, oh hey, I'll come for help, and he'll give you a second Z move, which is so helpful. It's actually what made me win this fight in the first place whenever I did this battle for the first time ever. I almost lost with a full team of 6 Pokemon. It was insane. Ultra Necrozma, not only is it a very strong legendary with a pretty good typing, but it also sharply increases all of its stats. That is insane. Oh, and also, to add salt to the wound, Necrozma's regular ability makes it so that the attacks that he receives are halved in damage if they're super effective. But Ultra Necrozma's ability doubles the damage whenever you're attacking. So if you're attacking and it's a super effective move, it doubles the damage. It's insanely good. And it has Power Gem. So this is gonna obliterate us. First try, we get one shot with a Power Gem crit. Wonderful. Second try, same thing happens. This time, without the crit. Maybe Friendship can help? We need 2 Friendship checks in a row. Either one of them to be able to dodge, or one of them as a crit Z move. Man, I'm a gambling man. Let's go. And there it is. A few tries later, Necrozma stands no chance against Litten. Great job. We saved the world. Doesn't that qualify us to be champion? No? Alright, fine. I'll do the rest of the trials, I guess. Next up is a travel to the fairy trial. And I accidentally spammed the A key and ended up using the Z Dragon type move on a fairy type. Great. Let's go again. This time, I use Work Up on the first turn, since Mawile always uses Sucker Punch. We one-shot Granbull with a Z move this time, and Ribombee is so fragile, so one Z move takes it out, but not without taking ourselves out in the process from recoil. Damn, all we need is for Mawile not to use Sucker Punch. Well, it just spammed Sucker Punch till it ran out of power points, and we got our attack up by 5, which is by 4 by Granbull because he has Intimidate. It's not like it really matters. Ribombee cannot survive anything from us now that we have all of that stat up. Alright, and as part of the fairy trial, we actually have to go through every single captain we fought, and we have to fight them again. First of all is Lima. He wasn't too difficult at all. I'm sure it'll be the same for everyone else. Lana is a little scary because of the water typing. Right away, we almost got one-shot by Lantern using Hydro Pump, and Araquanid was a crit one-shot, and last was Cloyster. I went for the Z move knowing it would one-shot it, but we died from confusion. Let's try again. For some of the fights, Lantern decided to use Thunder Wave, to which my answer was a Lumberry. After that, Araquanid got a crit, then Cloyster didn't use any water moves, and we didn't get confused, giving us a victory. Man, if he just kept spamming Hydro Pump, we would have lost every single time. Chiari starts with an Arcanine that spams Flare Blitz. We got a workup and started using Outrage, but after being lucky for so long with confusion, it seems our luck ran out. Let's keep trying a couple of times. Now look at this hideous luck. We managed to KO everything. And when we reached Marowak, we get Outrage disabled due to Cursed Body. Are you serious? And because we got it disabled, we got locked into it, and we wasted our turn on it, and we lost the fight. I didn't even know that could happen. If it disabled Outrage, why was I still forced to use it and not use it at the same time? We were so close. Next try went exactly the same, except this time, Outrage wasn't disabled. And look at how easy that was. Jeez. Alright, and the hiker couldn't hold it in and just had to fight us. Well, the Zemo took it out. That was easy. Next up is the Observatory. But, he just gives us the Z move without a fight. Next up is Dark Trainer Nanu, and after a bit of luck, we managed to take out his entire team without any issues. His Absol was a bit of an issue at first, because he just kept using Sucker Punch and always crit with Night Slash, but he was fine. And now we're back to Mina, and the trial is all complete. Alright, this is the final challenge before I have to fight Hapu, a Totem Ribombi. Hoping that my Z-move can one-shot it, and it almost did, but it had a berry to survive off 1 HP. Either that, or we're forced to never Oko it, which is annoying. It summoned a Blissey, so it wasn't hard to kill. Also, loads of EXP, and that was it, the final trial of the final island. The end game starts now. The kahuna of this island is Hapu. She's a ground type trainer, meaning this will suck so unbelievably much. Golurk is first. He hangs on with 1 HP and immediately kills us with Earthquake. I feel like this will be a theme for this kahuna. Second try, same thing happens. So we did the third try. We just need a couple more levels. Back at level 90, Golurk was a one-shot with Shadow Claw. Mudstale was almost a one-shot with Flare Blitz. We also burned him. Then, he almost one-shot us with his Z-move, even with the burn. Litten survived with 1 HP, and forgot to change the Z-move so I couldn't use the dragon one, and we lost the fight. This time, he used Earthquake, and we survived with 1 HP. Next is Gastrodon, who is a one-shot with our Z-move, and last was Flygon, who was a one-shot with Outrage. We even outsped it. Wow, I didn't expect things to go this easily. That was so smooth. And hey, there we go, we did it. All trials are complete. All that's left now is the Elite Four. But right before the Elite Four is a fight with Gladion. And this time, he actually has a Z-Ring. His Scrobat opened up with Acrobatics, which did so much damage. And Hail did a number on us. And then he sent out Zoroark to use this Dark-type Z-move and finish us off. Sadly, this fight is mandatory. We must win. Second try, and the same thing happened, except that we survived off 1 HP and died from Hail. I don't think I can get through this with all this Hail. Alright, first try using Sunny Day, we set it up and we take a big damage off Acrobatics. Then we dodged Cross Poison, and we actually outsped Zoroark. Must have been a speed tie. Next up is Silvally, a legendary who is type Null's evolution. And it was water typed. Silvally can actually change his typing just like Arceus. Silvally was actually made to be a fake version of Arceus, and that's basically what it is. It's just Arceus but weaker. And this time he has it as a water type because our starter was a fire type. I used my Z-move to finish him off, and last was Lucario, and we hurt ourselves in confusion and hung on with 1 HP. Then we hung on again off Quick Attack and went down to Hail. We can't hang on from recoil damage or Hail. We need to finish this while it's sunny. Finally, a couple tries later, we got around where Litten avoided Cross Poison, but we didn't finish our Outrage, so Silvally got to come in and take one, which isn't enough to defeat it. Then we dodged the water multi-attack, which would have definitely one-shot us, hit Shadow Claw with a non-needed crit, and went to Lucario. Then the sun faded. All we need is to hit Flare Blitz, and we did it. With enough luck, Litten pulled through. That's all the trainers we need to fight till the Elite Four. I'll see you there. Oh hey look, it's Necrozma. Alright, bye. I don't care. And here we are, the highest peak in the entire realm. It's time to go and check out the Elite Four. And hey look, we got a special cutscene. Just so you know, this cutscene is completely skipped if you don't have a starter in your party. As long as you have a starter in your party at any stage, this cutscene will always happen and occur, and you'll get to see it here. The Litten's not shiny, none of the stars look shiny, but it's still a nice little cutscene. When I was first playing this game on my own, and I had Incineroar here, and I had this cutscene, it really made me feel like I just did something special. Like, this was the end game. Like, I really hope they do something more like this in later games, because, like, it's such a good feeling. Because your starter is just so special to you usually. Alright, we have 4 trainers to fight. We have a Steel, a Rock, a Ghost, and a Flying type. I decided to go with the Steel type because it's gonna be the easiest, right? Right? Alright, here's how the first fight went. Klefki has Prankster, so it always goes first using a status move. Dr. Trio is always faster than us, and with Paralysis, he can immediately one-shot us with Earthquake, and there's nothing we can do about it. Second try, we dodge Thunder Wave, use Flare Blitz to one-shot it, then Dr. Trio nails us with an Earthquake, we survive off 1 HP, then die to Recoil. Maybe if I learn Fire Fang or Double Kick? Alright, let's just learn Fire Fang. Double Kick sucks, and besides, every time we hit Alone Diglett / Duck Trio with a physical move, it lowers our speed by 1 stage. Let's just learn Fire Fang instead and see how it goes with that. It's just exactly the same, except it hurts twice as much when we lose, knowing that we can one-shot their entire team. Let's try at level 100, I guess. They immediately set up Reflect and spam full restores and Thunder Wave. We dodged the Thunder Waves though. We dodged the Earthquake and one-shot it with Fire Fang. Reflect is still up, so Metagross didn't get one shot, but it ran out on the second turn, so it fainted. Next is Magnezone with Sturdy, so no matter what I do, I can't get a one shot. We dodged Thunderbolt, then he full restored. After we used Thunderfang and survived off Sturdy. Last is Bisharp, so I used the Z move for the win. If that was supposedly the easiest Elite Four, then what is the Rock type Elite Four going to be like? Next up, I decided to go with my favorite, Acerola. Immediately, I one-shot Bayonet with Shadow Claw. Palos Sand was almost a one-shot and hit us hard using Earth Power. Then, the second one was a crit for a one-shot. Delmise was a one-shot with Fire Fang because it's a grass type. And then was Frostlass, who was also a one-shot with Fire Fang. Then, Driftblim, using my Z move to ensure the victory from the first try. I didn't even have Aftermath. If it had Aftermath, I might have actually lost. Next up, I chose to go with the Flying type trainer, leaving the Rock type turn to last because, oh my god, that's gonna be scary. And hey, since it's a Flying type trainer, expect a lot of Brave Birds and Acrobatics. First off is Braviary. I'm sure all her team is faster than me because of Flying type. I went with Fire Fang for a one shot, and hey, we were faster. Then was Mandibuzz, who flinched off Fire Fang, and that's when I realized that I didn't heal up before the battle like an idiot. Hawlucha finished off with a Flying Press. Let's heal up and try again this time, shall we? The second run, Braviary hung on, used Scary Face to ensure we're slower than everyone else, and then full restored. Well, this run's dead for sure. Mandibuzz landed a very weak Brave Bird. We almost took it out with Fire Fang, then we lost a Brave Bird. A few runs later, and we have this run where we use Outrage mostly because of its high attack, and it seems to be working very well. Too well, in fact. I won with over half my HP. Alright, it's time for the Rock type leader, and I'm scared out of my mind. She starts off with Armaldo, a Bug and Rock type, so I decided as my first try to just spam Outrage and see how it goes. He got one shot. Next is Gigalith, that can be one shot. In fact, he sets up Sandstorm, uses Bulldoze to lower our speed, and Sandstorm takes out a bunch of our health. This is scary. Next up is Lycanroc. It's a little fragile, so it can be one shot, but we hit ourselves in confusion, sealing our fate. Finally, we got back to Probopass for the first time ever. And we got a crit to instantly defeat it. And hey look, the Sandstorm's gone. Then Credilli's next, and we got a crit with Outrage, giving us the win with the Elite Four. But hey, we're not done yet, because now is the fight for the throne against Kukui. I mean, how? Not Kukui. He's pretty difficult, and his team is built to counter specifically our starter. But with tunes like these, I don't mind losing a few hundred times. I mean, listen to this banger. Raichu's faster, and he nails us with Psychic. Next up is Vaporeon, and it's pretty tanky. Not tanky enough for us. Then Tauros with Intimidate. He's faster with Earthquake, but we dodge it. Sadly, the next one lands and KOs. Guess I'm not the champion. Oh well, let's try again. Raichu pretty much goes the same way, except this time, I use Outrage so that by the time Tauros comes out, I can use my Z move. But before I can even use my Z move on Tauros, it lands an Earthquake and one-shots us. Man, let's keep trying for some better luck. Alright, after some EV training to increase my speed, hoping it'd make a change, we get this run where our HP isn't too dire, and we aren't confused, and Noivern doesn't KO us. Yay! Outrage for the win! And with that, I beat Pokemon Ultra Moon with only Shiny Litten. But if you've played Ultra Sun or Moon, you know that this isn't the end, because we still have Team Rainbow Rocket Takeover. And here we are, with our first actual fight. It's Maxie, it's time to fight. It's the same team as in Oraz and Emerald. Right off the bat, we miss a 95% Fire Fang, get a massive hit on us with Crunch, then the second Fang does so little, while he finishes off with another Crunch. Next time I used Double Kick, it did well enough, Camera Up is necked, and I started using Outrage while he used Earthquake. Yeah, this won't work. Maybe my Z move on Camera Up? But then Groudon will use Earthquake instead. This is difficult. Next time, I immediately started spamming Outrage. Not that it really does much. It's not a two-shot either, and Camera Up still messes us up with Stone Edge or Earthquake. And Groudon pretty much has the same moves, except he has like a signature move called Precipice Blade, which never misses and does a lot of damage. And also he's a legendary, so his stats are off the roofs. I'll give it just one more try. This time, I'll use the Dragon Z move to one-shot it hopefully, and then try to take on the rest. Crobat's next, and he messes us up with Sludge Bomb. A crit Outrage takes it out, but from there it's Freezing, a tanky Pokemon that's probably got Toxic. Not that he'll need it, he just poisoned off Sludge Bomb after we survived it with 1 HP. This isn't winnable for me, I don't think. 6 fully evolved Pokemon, one of which is a legendary. I think that's where I'll end off. And hey, that's pretty much it for today's video, everybody. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. Thanks everyone for being here. I really appreciate y'all. I don't mind some feedback on this thing because, again, it took me like a year to record this. So thank you for being here. Really, I appreciate you. Next challenge, if I'm ever going to be doing one, might actually be Type Null. Because Type Null is the weakest legendary, and I really want to see if he can just beat this entire game easily. It might be pretty fun, because Type Null and Silvally are like some of my favorite legendaries, honestly. So hey, if you enjoyed the video, again, I'll say it, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one next time. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.